Hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. So of course it's about that time, guys. We're going to recap last week's episode of Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists, episode 5, The Patchwork Girl. And the only kind of description they set us up with this episode is a plan to uncover the truth has dire ramifications. And they couldn't be any more right, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our top 5 moments. Number 5, Ava pretty much gives Caitlin and Dylan the task of drugging Mason in order to get whatever dirt he has on them. We're already off to a very heavy start with this episode, and it was interesting to see the trio argue, which isn't something we haven't seen before, but they got really nasty with it this time. Dylan was specifically savage. He pretty much called Ava a criminal, saying something like, "I guess it runs in the family." And I was like, oh my god. Ultimately, Caitlin and Dylan do agree to do this because they want everything to be settled and taken care of. They all have huge things coming up: Ava's fashion show, Dylan's big audition, and Caitlin's exams. And also, Caitlin does want to do right by Ava since she pretty much screwed her over. Number 4, Taylor and Allison have a chat while Mona and Ray have a chat. Allison pretty much convinces Taylor to come back to Beacon Heights, and Taylor is very push and pull with it. She's like, "You really have no idea why my mom brought you out here. She knows that you can draw me out of hiding with your past and what you do. She knew you would find me, and you're hurting me by being here." And Allison, which is really interesting, I don't know why she didn't understand that. Taylor eventually does come back to Beacon Heights because Allison is convincing her that her mother does love her. And I'm with Taylor on this one. Her mom may love her, but something is definitely off. Anyway, Taylor just kind of fills her in and says, "You know what? Someone was trying to kill me, and that's the main reason I faked my death."
Peanut brittle.
I'm on a cleanse.
Ray and Mona get very familiar, and they share peanut butter brittle, which I thought was kind of cute and funny. And Ray pretty much fills her in on everything, how he's been living there since he was 15, all the research he does, and how pretty much his job there and his attire makes him invisible to the eye. And he even talks about his relationship with Taylor and how their friendship was. He knew someone was after Taylor, and he did warn her, so he was the one who scribbled into the wall, "They are watching." We still don't know, but Ray did say that he was trying to tell her, and so he knew and had a feeling in his heart that Taylor might not be dead. Number 3, the secrets are flying. The secrets are flying. Dylan levels with Caitlin in regard to how he's still her friend, but he can completely understand why Ava is mad at her. And this was a very real moment between the two. Of course, a big one we were wondering about, Dylan's hookup with Nolan, surfaced in the most craziest way possible. Of course, both Caitlin and Ava were livid. I wasn't expecting Caitlin to be too mad because Dylan makes a good point. He was like, it was before Ava, but I never really knew you, Caitlin, and I didn't know if you were Nolan's real girlfriend or his fake girlfriend. I didn't know what was going on with that. So this moment truly tears the group in half, and it catches us up as an audience to where the episode originally started. Of course, later on, the group does make up because I've lost count in regard to how many times our beloved Rosewood girls were mad at each other and made up. And just a sidebar, Miss Dana Booker, she is on the hunt, and it is incredibly interesting. Like, she tries to come for Mona and Ava. With Mona, we learn exactly what happened to Mary and Alex Drake. It does seem like they somehow escaped. Like, one of my best friends, you guys know him, Deontay, he suggested when he first heard the line from Mona, "What I was doing out there somehow escaped me." And he was like, "Oh, Mary and Alex escaped, and that's why Mona's back. That's the only reason Mona's back." And I was like, well, what if she actually means that her whole reason? He was absolutely right. They somehow got away because Dana kind of lays this on the table in front of Mona. She's like, "Oh, are you worried they're looking for you?" Trying to spook her into giving information of some sort about Allison. But of course, Mona gets back at her and she says, "Hey, look, research goes both ways." And she mentions how Dana got herself fired for taking Ava's father's case too personal. And in regard to Ava, Dana, which I knew someone was toying with Ava, reeled her in with fake clues, her favorite lullaby, nicknames, photos, things that are you would think may be a little hard to gain access to. But when you think about somebody like Dana, who's been working on that case for a very, very long time, it doesn't seem that impossible that she would be able to figure out all those things. But either way, she got Ava, reeled her into a secret location, and Ava, for the most part, was thinking her dad would be there. And instead of coming with the bag of money, Ava had clothes, and it's kind of like really made Dana mad. And Dana does try to strike a deal up with Ava, but Ava laughs in her face, and then she ends up crying in her car with her trash bag full of money that she left there. Number 2, Caitlin knocks Mason out with a fireplace poker. Literally screamed when this happened because I was not expecting it. I thought it was going to be one of those moments where Mason kind of comes on to her, he kisses her, she pushes him away, but somehow it gets back to her boyfriend Jeremy. I thought that's what was going to happen. I thought they were going to play it by the book. However, Caitlin had a plan of her own up her sleeve. She surprised us all. So instead of letting it get to that place, which Mason really assumed it would, she knocked him out with the fireplace poker. And she ended up stealing his phone in order to get the information that way. And honestly, I may have chosen that way rather than drugging him. In our last sidebar, Taylor is missing, of course, right? Mona finally gets to catch up with Allison and tells her that she really needs to get Taylor back into hiding because of the information Ray has told her. Allison fights with Mona on this a little bit, just kind of saying like, what am I supposed to do? I really spent all day convincing her that it was okay for her to come back and work things out with her mom and her family. Mona's like, you don't know what's going on. This town really could be like Rosewood. And of course, Taylor is no longer napping in the bedroom. What happened to her? Who knows? It's very possible she just decided to slip out on her own. And number 1, Caitlin gets hit by a car. Caitlin informs everyone about what she did and how she got Mason's phone. At this point, everyone is pretty much made up. And before Caitlin gets to share the information with Dylan, she steps out into the road thinking the fast approaching car. And guys, I mean fast. She thought the fast approaching car was Ava, and of course it ran her over and it kept going, like it sped away. And the episode ends pretty much with Dylan and Ava trying to call the cops. Alright, theory time, guys. So, who do you think ran Caitlin over? Options are Taylor, Dana, Mason, and possibly someone Mrs. Hotchkiss hired. Because I can't think of who else would have a good motive to run Caitlin over. I almost feel it would be too obvious if it was Mason, but we did see Mason waking up at Taylor's cabin, but I don't want to believe it's him. I want it to be someone else, like a little bit more interesting or something more shocking. I guess it could technically be shocking that Mason was willing to run her over, maybe to keep his own secrets hidden. But I feel like they set this up so we could think it was Mason. I also want to think Dana is too big, though she acts like a child sometimes. I want to think she's too big of a person to stoop that low to run Caitlin over, but who knows? Mona did say she was starting to do crazy things to get Ava's father and her arrested, so you never know. Taylor wouldn't make much sense unless she just took a car and was trying to get away, but at the same time, this person specifically aimed the car right at Caitlin. When she stepped out and they saw who she was, they turned just so they could specifically run her over. And it could be someone Mrs. Hotchkiss hired, or herself maybe? I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with Mason just because it's the one that makes the most sense, but it would be very, very obvious. But who do you guys think it is? Let me know down in the comments. Well, that just about does it, guys, for this top 5 recap of episode The Patchwork Girl. What do you think about the episode? I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like they're starting to get better and better as we progress throughout the season. I'm happy to see that I'm in a place now where I can, with confidence, say that I enjoyed the episode and look forward to watching more. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like rating down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get more TV show recaps like this one. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!